All right, we're going to break down the breakdowns in today's
And I may break
Playbook.
down and cry, John,
Yeah,
when I do this.
Check it out on YouTube and Twitch as well, and you'll enjoy the audio, but you'll love the video as well. Go ahead. What do we got?
All right. There's no silver lining playbooks in this one. It's all, how did this happen? How did they blow a 14-0 lead, a 21-7 lead, a 24-14 lead with 11:57 to play in the game? How did they blow this lead? How did they lose the game? Offense did contribute to it here and there. A missed opportunity certainly to run the ball on the goal line when you got a 2nd and goal on the 2-yard line at J.P. Mason a couple of times. Brock not seeing the deep shot to Brandon Ayuk. Some drops by Ronnie Bell. You know the deal. But mainly, as we break down the breakdown, it was defense, but mainly where it all got started was special teams. A terrible punt return late in the game, but where the whole game flipped. Rams facing a 4th and 6 on their 43-yard line with 6:22 to play in the game. Sean McVay, you going for it? No. He's going to punt? No, he's not going to punt. And they're going to fake it here, and they're going to run out and get close to a first down. Did they pick it up?
Yep.
Kind of thought Chase Blackburn, their special teams coordinator, would do something there, Tim. Wisnowski will take it and put it away at the 35-yard line. Smith will catch it. No fair catch. Makes a gunner miss. Gets wide. Tackle him. 30, 40, midfield. Wisnowski will bang him out of bounds. They're nearly in field goal range right now with 42 seconds to go. And they would get in field goal range attacking Devondre Campbell later. But here is the fake punt. Anytime you see as a personal protector a running back, number 20 is Ronnie Rivers. His dad is Ron Rivers, one of the greatest running backs in Fresno State history. Did a lot of his games in the early 90s, and Ronnie had a really good career at Fresno State before that, Freedom High School in Oakley. So he's the personal protector there. The 49ers are in. This is their standard punt return, punt block defense on the field, special teams. They don't leave their defense on the field. So Chris Connolly is the end on that side, number 18. Good football player, but it's not Nick Bosa or Leonard Floyd. And they run just a basic sweep out in space right there. They get the tight end, 83, to hit up in front and then get out on the second level. You're basically outnumbered right at the snap. So when you saw this action, and we'll get it now from the sideline, and this is the punt from Wisnowski. They were just outnumbered here. This one, that's Malik Mustafa up on top. That is a vice. That's a double vice where two jammers on the gunner. They are double teaming him. So he's the guy they're trying to slow down. Renardo Green is the other guy. Mitch Wisnowski's punt gets off clean, but it comes off his foot right to where Malik Mustafa is. This is Xavier Smith. First plays in the NFL. He was an undrafted guy to the Rams in 23, and they put him up on game day. Kyron Williams was returning their punts. They made a change on Saturday. You kind of knew. Malik's got to get him on the ground there. He got through that vice. They doubled the gunner. He was able to split it, get up the field. But as a young player, and we'll talk to Dante Whitner, John, at 12:30, he's got to get him on the ground. He came in a little bit too hot there, and then you lose contain on the outside. Jake Tonjes, number 88, Kyle thought he got a block in the back. Once they were able to get it wide, as Mustafa, the gunner, did not get him on the ground, then you've got to have contain. So watch the people run down. George Odom looks back. It's a good snap from Tabor Peckber. You got Curtis Robinson, 36, and Isaac Arendo are going to handle the flanks. And the two tight ends run up the field, Saubert and Tunges. So look at Mustafa. He's running free. He got off the double team, the vice on the gunner. He's all lined up to make the tackle. This is Mustafa, the guy who's going to make the open field tackle. That's while he's on the team. How much gunner work has he done? Smith makes a miss right there.
So right there, it's the 15. If he gets him there, it's the 15.
Right. I mean, so he's got to get him on the ground. But then Tonjes, is that a clip there on Tonjes in the back? Once they get wide, he's down the sideline. Yep. And now you're screwed. You're not going to chase him down. Odom gets there, but Wisnowski, the Boom and Onion rugby player, is able to bang him out of the bounds. So to me, you were not aligned properly. On the 4th and 6, you had to leave your defense on the field. It's called punt safe. we're going to leave our defense. Once they see Bosa and Floyd out wide, they're not running that play. Here, I don't want to put it all on Malik. He's a young player. Yeah, but then somebody else has got to come in behind him. Gunners don't make all the tackles. Here's Cam Kitchens, the safety, will make the block here. George Odom's the best special teams player on the team. He's got to get off that block, disengage. Brandon Willis is there and chase, but then Tunges, who's more of a route runner and a catcher at tight end. He's not a big guy. He get pushed in the back there by Omar Spates, so that's where it's at. But it all started with them faking the punt on 4th and 6, and they had you out-leveraged. I don't even know. Did you hear from the Rams? I don't even want to read their clips or talk. But did Ronnie Rivers call an automatic in that situation? It's possible that he got up there, saw the front, we get one block on Chris Conley, and then we get our linebackers up on the second level. We get the edge easy here. I'm a Travis Homer in Seattle years ago when he broke that 76-yard fake punt against the Niners. He called it. He called it immediate alert. It turned the whole game around. They came back to win the game. It's possible Chase Blackburn called it because they ran in. Their special teams came running on the field right away. I'm like, why are they in such a hurry? So maybe it was let Ronnie Rivers call it off if he doesn't like it, but call it, lock it, and then if he sees, and Conley's a good player, but he's not Nick Bosa. So once they got him blocked and got to the edge, they could get to the 6-yard. They had to pick up 6. It wasn't a 4th and 1 or 2. So those are risky. So those are just special teams breakdowns. You had a block punt, obviously, in Minnesota. The Jake Moody kick from 55, he just missed it. Left hash and left upright. I don't know if he thought the Santa Ana winds would blow a little bit of that upright. It was a calm day. He just hooked it a little bit, and he didn't draw it back, and he missed it. That's a field goal that's long. Jake has made long field goals. He made a 57-yarder.
That's 80% this year, by the way, that kick. That's 80%.
Yeah, guys are making long ones, but it's not an automatic from 55 yards away. When you miss it, though, you give it to them on the 45. So special teams have been hardly special, John. They have indirectly or directly, to some degree, had a major hand in both of these losses on the road in Minnesota and then also at L.A. last week. So special teams not good. Now it is the Devondre Campbell portion of our program.
I want to close your eyes even if you're driving for this.
This is the one. And Devondre Campbell has been a great player in this league. In 2021, he was a first-team All-Pro player. Last year he had a lot of injuries, whether it was a knee or an ankle. He didn't move well. He didn't like the scheme. He got on social media. Whatever it was, he just wasn't moving like Devondre Campbell. The Niners wanted to get Eric Kendricks in here to take over for Dre Greenlaw until Dre comes back. He was a Niner for like an hour. Then he got out of the deal. Dallas gave him more, and he's got more of a role in Dallas trying to stop the running game, but they didn't do a good job against King Henry and Baltimore. But in any event, Campbell's here, and I could see it, throughout the offseason. He's not moving well. He's got long arms. He's got great instincts, but he's not Dre Greenlaw, completely different player. Dre fires fast and goes and buries you. Campbell. But then there was one day in training camp where I saw him man-match Christian McCaffrey, the great of the great, the best of the best, in a wheel route. And I thought, whoa, that was impressive. Maybe he can do this. The opponents will tell you who you are and what you have. And in two big situations, Sean McVay targeted Devondre Campbell. The first one is going to be a Texas route on the goal line from Kyren Williams for a touchdown. And the last one, right after that punt return they had to get to midfield, they moved the tight end Parkinson out in the formation and went right at Devondre. So 2 plays, timely plays, which led to points, directly to a touchdown, later a field goal. Here's the Rams going after number 59. 2nd and 9, Rams. Kyren Williams leaks out left. They'll throw it to him over the middle. He makes the catch, and he dives in the end zone. Well, he looked like Christian McCaffrey there. Matthew Stafford now just needs to get to the 30-yard line. He's going to lob one outright, going for Parkinson, and a flag is thrown. It's a pass interference call on the Niners.
2 flags, one early in the middle of the field and then the one late on Devondre Campbell.
They're already in field goal range. What has happened here to be in this predicament? Well, it's actually 3 penalties, now the one down the sideline. So Kyren Williams, first they started them in a pistol. He was behind Matthew Stafford. Then they moved him next as a sidecar in the shotgun. Devondre Campbell shows man on that side. Fred Warner is the other linebacker. You'd love to have that reversed. So he runs a Texas route, a choice route. He crosses his face in short area there, gets inside of him. Look at Warner. Fred has already turned. He's trying to get from the other hash there. Not even All-Pro Fred can get there in time. Just late. And then Talanoa Hufanga, they will get him to arrive late as well on a post route in the end zone from 15, Demarcus Robinson. So they motion Kyron there. It's all lined up. He just cannot cover the Texas route. He crosses his face easy. He's got inside leverage. He jumps inside. Now look in the end zone. Demarcus Robinson, 15, runs a post route, and that forces Talanoa Hufanga to open up his hips the other way. So he can't help you. Warner saw it was coming, but he got there a beat late, and then he just flips right over Talanoa, and he's in the end zone for a touchdown. So you saw it coming. They went at him. Big play Dre will give up those as well in certain situations, but in this situation, in the high red zone, they're going to run this action here, and just Fred's a little bit late to come over. Boy, if he just would have saw that, John, a beat later, he would have dove across the formation like he did Sam Darnold and get the ball. You can't blame Fred on that. But they just lined him up like Kansas City did with Oren Burks in the Super Bowl with Travis Kelce. Look at that flip by Kyron Williams. And then he did not stick the landing, but he got in the end zone. This was right after the fake punt. So it's 14-0, and then they do that. It's 14-7. Now the end of the game. Colby Parkinson is the tight end off the edge there in Havenstein. They're going to bump him out, and you see Devondre go out. So they know it's man, but more importantly, he's all by himself. He has to play like a corner here, and they go right at him. He didn't get huge separation, but he got on top where Stafford threw him the ball, and he did not turn to come back and play the ball. He was in phase, but he just not turned. So the motion there to put Parkinson outside of Tyler Johnson, and they already showed man before, but now they got him outside the numbers. And Stafford looked left for a second to give it a beat, but he was going back that way the whole time, and Devondre got there. There were 2 other penalties on the play, 3 in total. I'm not sure I've ever seen that. He got up on his body, ran right through him. He was late. He didn't turn and play the ball. He was in phase, but he did not turn to make a play. So they obviously were targeting him in that situation. That's a special right there, and now they're in shorter field goal range. They get it on the right hash mark, and the game is over. So they went at Devondre Campbell. Not a shock. The Vikings did it in a different way in their run action to attack him, and they know him well because he played in the NFC North with Green Bay for 3 years, and O'Connell knew him from the division. What was a surprise, and this is where you're watching the game, it's not all, what you planned the night before. They went at Charvarius Ward, and they went at Charvarius Ward because he was not healthy, and they saw him show up, like George Kittle did on Thursday. George couldn't play. Bosa showed up. Bosa was fine with the oblique. And the report was a hamstring and a knee. Actually, Charvarius told me it was a groin. And he was iffy whether or not he could play in the game and run. He said he'd try it. And he was in and he was out. And he had probably, along with the Kansas City game at 21, the worst game he has as a Niner. It's not who Mooney Man is. He just was hurt. But they saw he was hurt. There was one play, Demarcus Robinson ran an out and up on him, and he fell right to the ground. He fell down, and Robinson ran right by him, and he missed him. Matthew Stafford, the great thrower of the ball, overthrew him and missed him. Should have been a touchdown. But when they saw that, and they saw Tutu Atwell run a shallow cross out of a bunch, they saw Mooney Man cannot run. So what are we going to do?
But in context, just real quick, this is right after the Moody field goal. So this gave him missed field goal. So this gave him the field position.
Play. Exactly. It's the next play. The missed field goal's on the 45-yard line. Now they have a chance to win. Now this is actually after the punt return. Right?
I thought this was after. After the missed field goal.
Yeah, maybe it been either one of those plays. They go right at it.
It was after the missed field goal.
Whatever it was, it was the very end of the game.
And this is what gave him the field position.
The key thing is they motion Tutu Atwell, and we got to talk to Dante. This cheater exit motion that Kyle actually has been using for years, that Mike McDaniel with Tyreek Hill has taken to the next level. Minnesota did it with Johnny Munt, the tight end, all the time to create a clear out where you had to widen out your coverage. Now they are specifically targeting Charvarius Ward. Charvarius, when he's right, wants to play bump and run. He wants to get up with you and bump. Watch number 5. Tutu Atwell comes screaming in motion across the formation, runs a 4-4, gets up on top of him. So here's the play, and then we'll break it down. He goes under center. It's a play action. He's going to sling it around now. Here he goes, deep down the field. Tutu Atwell, he's got it on Charvarius Ward. Inside the 49er 5-yard line. Went right over the top against Mooney. So Mooney, he backpedaled on the action when he went into the cheater motion, the exit motion. I think he thought Tutu was going to break it off at some point, but you got to stay deeper than the deepest, and Tutu runs a 4-4. He just runs right by him. He's gone, and there's no middle safety there to help. So that motion, and they're doing subtle motion to create bunch formations that Dante will break down, and then you got to track the ball. This one's hard because he's already in a trail position. I was impressed he got him on the ground. But watch the action by Tutu Atwell from the bunch. He will move out of the bunch formation. He's the number 1 receiver in the bunch. He breaks it. He'll go, and he's not even running that hard right now, but this guy runs fast. He's going to get outside of the other receiver, and look at how it changed Ward's coverage. He's not going to play press man anymore. He's going to bail, get his hips open, backpedal out of there, and try to stay on top. He does not stay on top. Tutu Atwell runs right by him. Charvarius Ward was not healthy in this game. The safety help does not come from the middle. Again, you're influenced by a crossing route. You just can't get there. Talanoa Hufunga's playing the other side. First game off an ACL. There's no way in hell he's going to get off that hash to the other outside the numbers to make the play. So this is one they schemed up. But it's because they watched Charvarius Ward fall down on a route earlier in the game. It was a stutter and go with DeMarcus Robinson. Ward fell flat down on the play, and he ran right by him. And then they ran Tutu Atwell on that motion inside of the bunch. He ran a shallow cross out of the bunch, and Charvarius couldn't cover it. He left the field. He went off the field after that play. They brought in Renardo Green. It took the Rams a couple of plays, but they rolled Stafford that way, and they got a hold call in the end zone of the rookie Green, and it was there. So Devondre Campbell, I don't know if he's hurt or if that's who he is right now. I think that's who he is. I think he's moving better than he did last year. He has to get it done with instincts and those long arms. Charvarius Ward will get healthy. This is where everybody's hurt around me on offense. Nick's hurt. I got to play. And we got Talanoa coming back off an ACL. I'll try to play. And he just wasn't himself. He got targeted aggressively, and he got beat over the top. He could not run like Charvarius Ward. So it started with the fake punch on, and then it continued with them, smart bombing players they could attack, whether it was 59 in coverage or Charvarius just not being himself. And they went at other guys as well. So the main thing you got to do is just get Charvarius Ward healthy so he can play like himself.
Great breakdown, though. That is Papa's playbook. First, the special teams gaffes, as you said, the fake punt where Chris Conley was trying to play defensive end, and then you had the return as well, which is a killer, because if Malik Mustafa makes that tackle right there's 42 seconds left in the game, and then they're at the 15-yard line, and maybe they don't even risk that. So that's absolutely huge. Think of it, if you didn't watch the video of it, Devondre Campbell getting beat by Kyron Williams in the middle. Think of that route. Like I said, it's a Texas or an arrow. And think of Jeff Wilson Jr. against Arizona. So if you didn't see it, that's what it was, just straight off that middle and beating him and then flipping into the end zone. That one doesn't concern me as much because I see backs beat linebackers.
That was against Chandler Jones.
Right, exactly. The one down the sideline concerns me because you're going to see that, and more teams have better tight ends that can get down seams and things like that, and they're going to beat Devondre Campbell. He looked clueless in space there. I mean, there's certain things he can do well, but his back's turned. He hugs the receiver. He holds the receiver. He's not looking for the ball. I mean, that was just terrible technique the whole time. And teams are going to use that exact play with widen their tight end out like that and beat Devondre Campbell easily down the sideline. And then on that third one, it's just amazing to me, Tutu Atwell, and that's why you bunch guys. You don't want him to get hit off the line because here's a 165-pound guy. He can run if you give him free release. It's hard to get up on him like that in that situation. But the other thing is not only is it on Ward, but it's just taking advantage of the deep ball. Minnesota did it against the safeties who don't have a lot of great foot speed. And if Ward is out for an extended or he's compromised, then you're looking at, possibly having to play other guys, younger corners, those kind of things, and they got to step up. And that's one thing you and I, I'm sure we'll get to this week, which is where are those guys in the preseason that gave us so much hope among these rookies. Now, I know Ricky Pearsall, I think he's going to help. Renato Green looked good. He's got to be better. I haven't really looked at Pooney's tape from this whole thing, but they need guys to step up. And I know they're top heavy because they pay so much money to these guys, but look, injuries happen during a season, and you got to have guys be better. And the other thing I question is, do you want 2 rookie gunners? Because if Mustafa makes that tackle like he should have, there's no one blocking him there. He's right there to make that tackle, and he lunges and gets beat. If Renato Green and Mustafa can't make those plays as rookies, then get somebody out there who can. Chris Conley, get him down there. Get somebody down. They got to make that tackle. They got to make that tackle.
Or Darrell Luter Jr.
Whoever.
It's
got to make that tackle.
That's the structure of your game day activations. Those are your backup cornerbacks. So they often, if they can be your gunners, it's great. And Renato Green is involved in some sub packages, nickel and dime, but more dime right now. That's just a missed tackle. We'll talk to Dante. Maybe Dante spoke to him about it. I don't know how much gunner work he's done at Wake Forest, but that cheater motion, that exit motion, the 3 teams that motion the most in pro football are the Miami Dolphins, the San Francisco 49ers, and the LA Rams. And Mike McDaniel in Miami, and Kyle's run this before, but he calls it exit motion when Tyreek is coming out. And you get Tyreek a running start, and he turns the tackle like that, and you put a wide receiver out there, he's gone. But the Rams motion a lot, and they did a lot of the jet sweeps. Andy Reid did it with Tyreek, was one of the first when he hired Brad Childress to be the spread game. But the Rams with Robert Woods, they ran Robert Woods constantly on those jet sweeps, and they would hand it to him some, and they would use him as a blocker to get to the edge. What the Rams did in this game, without Puka Nacua, and Cooper Kupp runs those jet sweeps, and Puka as well, they went back and did what Minnesota did against the Niners, and that was just widen out your secondary by that exit motion. And Minnesota did it with a guy they didn't throw the ball to, Johnny Munt, the tight end. They just wanted to stretch things out a little bit, whether it was the seam route, on the third down. It's an issue. Dante will break down what they're doing. They're doing it over and over again. And with a guy like Tutu Atwell, he is fast, that guy. He will turn the corner and be gone. The one guy the Niners could use in that kind of action is Jacob Cowing. He does have that kind of ability. He's kind of a Tutu Atwell. He's 5'9", 171 pounds. He's incredibly fast and quick. They have used him in that motion in the preseason. Kyle was just saying there's things that he's not quite ready for the NFL, so they're not comfortable using him in that regard. He is up on game day because he's your number 1 punt returner. You could use him in a decoy just to run those routes to stretch people out. That's what McCaffrey, you're lacking with him, is able to stretch the field horizontally. J.P. Mason can't do that. A guy like Jacob Cowing, just to hold things and to widen out the zones and widen out the coverage, use the 53 1/3 width of the field to stretch the defense out. Jacob Cowing can do that whether you're throwing him the ball or not.